Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Rise of the Black Panther, issue number 2 of, what is it, 5, 6? I think it's 6. Not important right now. So, I mentioned in the previous issue that issue, there were very few, if any, changes whatsoever. In this issue, there were going to be a lot of changes. And I was right-ish, but I was more right than not, I guess. There were some changes made. But those changes are fairly minuscule. For instance, when Reginald Hudlin was writing his Black Panther series, that's the one that eventually, that was done in the Marvel Knights world, and it eventually became Marvel Knights Black Panther, almost like a stop motion kind of episodic TV show that you can still find on Netflix. Really good. Highly recommend watching it. I'll bet you that song gets stuck in your head. I might go watch it again tonight. Anyway, so the Black Panther, originally at the time, Niami, not Niami is his father, Cien. Niami is his original mother, sorry. Cien, his uncle, who they're saying here is like maybe 18 years or so that he was in charge. I don't think it was quite that long. I don't think it was that. I think it was like more like a decade, but regardless, the idea is that the prince was growing up and this guy was in charge, and eventually on one of the Challengers Days, which is every year, a bunch of challengers come together to fight the Black Panther. They made it into a tournament much like it was a tournament then, except then it was anybody who wants to have a go against the Black Panther, step right up, here's your go. And the Black Panther had to deal with all these people when they were all fresh, and he was only fresh against the first opponent. So literally, like if there were 12 opponents, you had to fight 12 opponents in the row. That was on the Black Panther to win. If you were not good enough to be able to keep going through all these people, you were not the definitive greatest power in the land. Here they have it quite differently. The tournament goes the way you'd normally see a tournament. The challengers all have to face multiple opponents until they're all whittled down to just one challenger against the final boss. That's the Black Panther. This shows more good for T'Challa, less good for Cien. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a different thing. So, all right, cool. Way to show T'Challa. He also beat two of the Dora Milaje, and it was more strategy and tactics than it was physical prowess, which, excellent. I can't stress what an excellent touch that was. Perfect. So, later on, we also get to see that there's some Wakandans have turned up missing. People are trying to blame the Atlanteans and Naganda, one of the neighboring countries, the country they've always had problems with. They're bordering country. Jealous, you stole the best soil. Shut up. Leave your stupid mythologies alone. Okay, let's just look at what's happening today. Anyway, so they're teaming up with Atlanteans, specifically U-Man, and they're going at it, and they're shooting down Namor from the skies. He's in a ship, and the Black Panther has to go at it with Namor because Namor can't think past the nose on his face because he's so angry all the time. This was good. This was all good. At the same time, people disappearing out of the water and things like that. This reminds me of, I believe this was this Reginald Hudlin's run, or was this Christopher Priest's run? In both, no, here, it was in Christopher Priest's run before the Marvel Knights run, that Hydra Man wound up becoming an enemy of the Black Panther just for a little while. And it was very different than what they're showing here, but it would be very cool, very interesting if they did actually show the Hydra Man coming in and being the one who's actually kidnapping Wakandans in this particular way. We know that ultimately it was Claw, but Claw hires people all the time. So, all these people who are disappearing and whatnot, and one of the people who has disappeared is in Jakarta, who is Killmonger. So, okay, perfect. I'm so glad that they showed that. They also showed a couple other, they showed like Rocky and people like that. Cool, man, cool. But for the most part, they're really going to be focusing slowly on bringing Jakarta into this. Fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love it. And it shows that rather than Jakarta finding him, Eric Killmonger finding him, it was more like Black Panther is finding Jakarta. So, okay, cool. Again, minor changes, but putting more of the onus of responsibility and, I don't know, coolness onto T'Challa, as opposed to it being more of him just being in the circumstances. He was actively trying to find these people. He was actively trying to do this, that, and everything, actively trying to become the new ruler of Wakanda. So instead of just, oh, circumstances proved perfectly. I do like the idea that Shuri could have become the Black Panther at the same time, Reginald Hudlin's run, but still, actually showing that it wasn't just a matter of luck. Oh, she happened to, some big dude happened to land on top of her, and her mother had delayed her the whole time. That the mother thing is one thing, but that's good for her. It's not necessarily good for T'Challa, but T'Challa, saying, no, I'm going to go in there now. I'm going to, beat up all these bad guys. That was cool. I dig that because it builds up T'Challa better than we had before. He was already cool before. Here, it's like they're starting from scratch to make him cool again. Easy to do. They're still doing a great job with it. So I'm liking the series so far. Next issue, they're teasing a little Iron Man action. Fantastic. Couldn't have asked for better with that. Yet they're still giving us better. They're promising us the Winter Soldier. You know what? Have a Wakabi situation in there also, because they both lost their left arms and were replaced with cybernetics. I'm in love. Guys, I'm giving this comic book an A. This is not going to be the greatest series that's ever known. This is going to be more of a sleeper hit that a couple of people will find out about. In my opinion, they're going to find out about this, and it will be like a treasured sort of thing where it is kind of revamping the Black Panther's mythos, his and at the same time his legacy. But for the most part, it's only making it better for him as opposed to for Wakanda as a whole. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, Anyway, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.